Hey everybody, this is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. We're about to share our latest project with you, which is building the bed frame and installing our 50-gallon freshwater tank. But before we get into the video, there's a couple things we'd like to talk about. We both strongly believe that when you're considering your design for your particular conversion, you have to consider the features that are most important to you. Isn't that right?
Absolutely correct.
All right. So what are the features that are most important to you, dear?
The most important features for me are a comfortable bed, a decent shower, my coffee pot, my 50-inch TV.
Yeah. Oh, and don't forget the hairdryer.
Oh, yes, and I have to be able to blow dry my hair. Those are my important features, yes.
So anyway, in the past we talked about how we were going to build the bed frame in the trailer, and in our original video, if some of you had an opportunity to see that video, I discussed the fact that we were going to build the bed frame in the middle of the trailer running crosswise, and we got a few comments about that. A lot of folks were concerned about us putting the bed in the middle, saying that we'd have to crawl over it from one side to the other and things like that, which in a way is true. So then we thought about, well, what if we build two couches, one on either side of the trailer, and have them where they fold out to make a bed in the middle? And for the longest time, that's what we were going to do. We were going to do that.
But then Deb decided that she's too lazy to make the bed up every single night and every single morning. I want my bed ready when I'm ready.
There you go. So, and there were other things to consider as well. We are, although we try to stay really active and we don't consider ourselves as...
Watch it.
We don't consider ourselves in that stage. But still, a very comfortable mattress is very important to us. And had we have went with the couches on either side of the trailer that fold out to make a bed, we would have had to have went with a thinner mattress so it would fold properly. And we slept on a thin mattress for a while, and
it was horrible. I need my 12-inch memory foam mattress.
So that's what we did. That's what we did. We ordered us a 12-inch memory foam mattress for the bedroom in the house. And then what happened?
Slept really good. So then I changed my idea or my plan back to the original plan.
So now we have decided that we have to have our 12-inch memory foam queen size mattress in the trailer. So a 12-inch memory foam mattress, even though we could cut it in half, it still is not going to fold properly. Or we could have it cut down where you had 4 separate cushions or whatever, but that would kind of defeat the whole purpose. And then again, we're back to that situation where we would have to fold it all up during the day, fold it back out at night, remake it, fold it back up the next morning, and most likely what would happen in our case, is it would always stay permanently set up as a bed. So we decided to not go with the folding couch system, and we went with the permanent bed frame with the queen size 12-inch memory foam mattress across the middle of the trailer. And we'll get deeper into that as you view this video, and maybe you'll understand more why we did that. Another thing to consider was, had we have went with the couches that fold down on either side, we would have been limited to a 30-gallon freshwater tank. And quite honestly, we didn't think that was enough. We wanted to go with a 50-gallon freshwater tank. And the only way to make that work was to, go with the permanent bed installation. So anyway, that's where we're at. One more thing I want to talk to you about. I got a new camera. Got me a GoPro Session Hero 5. I think that's how they pronounce it. Or it may be GoPro Hero 5 Session. So you GoPro camera users out there, you can correct me on the proper name of this camera, but anyway, I really do like it, but I'm still learning how to use it. We have it right now set on the wide setting, and that's how we shot the video on the project on the trailer. I'll probably change those settings later, but anyway, we hope you enjoy the video, and we're gonna shut her down and started the video, so here we go. GoPro, stop recording. All right, everybody, here we are. This is the pieces all constructed for the bed frame. And you'll notice this is the 50-gallon water tank sitting right here. And you notice that I have it offset where it's more to the passenger side of the trailer. And there's a reason for that, because when we do have water in it, you know, that will shift, you know, some of the weight over to the passenger side of the trailer. Keep in mind, there's the shower, of course. Right here on this side of the frame is where we'll have the kitchen sink and cabinet, and the refrigerator will be going right in here. And then over on this side, we're going to have a 5-foot long bar that will be sitting, you know, in front of the window there. I hope the glare didn't affect the video that much right there. This particular camera does not have a screen that I can monitor while I'm talking, so I hope that I'm hitting it right. I've got it set on the wide setting, so surely it'll be getting the video that we need here. I'm still learning with this, so I'm excited about it, but I'm still learning. Anyway, so that's what we've got going on here. Keep in mind, there'll be a bar here, and it'll be a little over 5 feet long, and it will have a cabinet in the center of it with drawers and stuff. And then we'll be able to sit on either side of the cabinet right here and to eat our dinner or whatever on those times when we do eat inside, or when we're sitting here having coffee or whatever, and we'll be able to look out the window right there. And then remember, over here, this is where the kitchen sink cabinet will be, and the refrigerator will be here, so this will be all cabinets here. In addition to that, we will have overhead cabinets that run the full length clear down to the shower, and we will have overhead cabinets that will run the full length this way as well, above here. Over there on this corner of the bed frame, over here on this corner of the bed frame, that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
You stole that from Fit RV, the Fit RV. Remember when? Yeah.
From Vanna White.
From Vanna White. Oh, you're thinking Vanna White. Anyway, on this corner of the bed, there will be a tower cabinet that will run from the floor all the way to the ceiling.
There'll be a vanity here.
Well, yeah, there'll be
from the bed.
it'll be
here.
right. It'll be open in there in the middle to be kind of like a nightstand.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more like it. Now, the battery bank will fit right in here where you see the wires coming out. And then, of course, the converter charger will be in this section right behind it right here. So that's where all that will go, which will also be necessary. It'll be good as far as putting more weight on that side of the trailer in order to compensate for the weight that's going to be on the driver's side of the trailer. The water pump will fit in this section right here off of the end of the tank right there. And then, of course, the plumbing is going to run, this is where the inlets are, the water inlets, which is our gravity fill and also our city water inlet coming in right here. The plumbing will run down through this area, and you'll notice when I built the shower frame that I left a chase area open so it could run behind the shower, because it'll be coming on up around and eventually ending up at the hot water tank, which will be at the front part of the trailer. And there will be a vanity there. The hot water tank will be hidden by a vanity there. And then, of course, the potty is going to be between the shower. Whatever you do, don't grab a 5-gallon bucket and sit down right there.
This way I mean.
Anyway, yeah, just imagine, no, don't imagine that,
No,
but that's where the potty is going to be, right there in that section right up there on the other side of the shower. And of course we'll have the dressing area, you know, right here, and then we'll have you know, this open area between the cabinets right here, which will be 32 inches right in there. Now, keep in mind too, folks, we don't have a cargo door at the back. We have an RV door at the back. We also have an RV door at the side over here. You know, a lot of people said, well, why do this? You'll have to crawl across the bed and things like this. We are outdoorsy type people. We go bicycling, we go kayak riding. We're hoping to be in climates during the fall, winter, and early spring where we can do a lot of that. You know, and we're not naive. We know that there's going to be times when when we have to stay inside if it's going to be raining. But we're also going to have an outdoor gazebo type tent as well that we can spend time in. So unless if it's just literally storming like crazy, that's where we're going to be. And that's all there is to it. Now keep in mind also, this is going to be the head of the bed. This is, of course, where the foot of the bed is going to be. And right there is where the 50-inch flat screen television is going to be. And we prefer to watch TV laying in bed. In fact, we don't even have a TV set up in our living room anymore. We have our 50-inch flat screen TV set up at the foot of our bed in the house. And we find other things to do until it's time to go to bed. Usually I'm practicing on the guitar. We're researching other things about the trailer. We're listening to Pandora in the living room. And then when it's time to go to bed, we have our favorite programs that we like to watch. And the most comfortable spot to do them is on our 12-inch memory foam queen size mattress.
Right here in the bed.
Yeah, right there in the bed.
It's
So,
super hot. The air conditioner's
and the
right
air
there.
conditioner will be right up here. That's correct.
Or not, the max fan will be right.
And the max fan will be right over there.
So,
You're a little more talkative now than you usually are.
well,
Yeah.
it's one of those mornings.
Anyway, now one thing I do want to show you about how we did this frame. Of course, this is the side wall here, and then you've got the side wall over there. Now I'm going to put plywood on these side walls before we assemble the structure permanently, and that will give the side walls more strength. Now, if my lovely assistant will pull out this section right here, I want to show you how I constructed my cross walls and lay it flat there. Yeah. Now you'll notice there, these are the cross walls. Now what I had to be concerned with, of course, is if there is water in this tank and we're traveling down the road, water is heavy. I think we figured out if we were to be traveling with a full tank of water and including the weight of the tank, it was going to be around 450 pounds. Now 99.99% of the time we will never do that. But let's say if we ended up with say 20 gallons of water or whatever in there and stopping and starting, so we have to have some strength there. And you'll notice on these side walls what I did when I framed them. You can see those corner gussets that I constructed there, and those are glued in and shot on. And then here, where this part comes up over the top of the tank, I put plywood on both sides of that to give that a lot more strength there for support, because it is spanning. The tank is about 22 inches wide, maybe a little bit more than that. In addition to that, if you notice there where it's going to be touching the tank, I took some carpet tiles and I cut them up into 1.5-inch wide strips, and I shot those pieces on to that so that they lay right up against the tank to give it some kind of a cushion. Those same carpet tile strips are also on this outside wall here where these studs will rub up against the tank as well. And like I say, I did that to give it more cushion. And you'll notice if you look closely right in there, you can see those carpet tiles sticking up there on the this wall on the end, and also right over here you can see that as well. So this was my idea, to keep this tank as stable as possible. It took a lot of precise measuring to make sure that everything fit properly. I didn't want it fitting too tight, but I wanted it to be snug so the tank wouldn't slide around. And I feel like we've got that pretty well done. We've got the back side wall secured, and we've got all of the end walls, not the end walls, the center walls secured. This is where the battery is going to go, of course. Now I've got more stuff to build around that battery to secure it, and I do have a battery strap that will be mounted in there in order to hold the battery down. But that's after we get everything else all done here. Our next step, now that we've got all of these walls secured right here, we're going to slide the tank in where you see where it goes right there. And then we'll attach the last side wall and secure it. And it's right here. Deb's kind of covering it up right now. It's right there. That is the side wall that will attach there. So are you sweating?
I'm a little
You are?
sweaty, yes.
Well, it's warm today.
It It is
Yeah,
limited.
and we've been working hard. We did sneak off for a little bit and go down to Lowe's because we had to get a couple of things, and we took time to stop at Sonic, and I had a double cheeseburger and tater tots, and she simply just had something to drink, but she did eat some of my tater tots.
3 of them.
3. Only 3?
Only 3.
Well, I didn't eat them all. I think I threw some of them away, most of them. In fact, I didn't eat all my hamburger. I'm trying to sound like I'm doing good as well, but she's doing a whole lot better than me. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back here in just a minute. We're going to go ahead and we're going to slide the tank in place, and we'll show you what that looks like with it slid into place. This wall here, it's the last cross wall that goes in, and I'm waiting to install that one after I get the tank in place because I want to make sure that it's right up against the end of the tank, and you can see, you know, where I've got the little scrap pieces of carpet there that will cushion against it. This loop you see right here is where the outlet is on the tank at the bottom, and that's where it will come through, and that'll give us room to get to it. So anyway, that's what we're doing next. So we'll be back here in just a little bit, so hang tight. All right, we've got the tank slid into place. As you can see, we've got it fitting good and tight. I got this wall secured right up against the end of the tank there, and it's all secured down on the far side over there and all along the floor right here. What I didn't mention a minute ago is we did go ahead and put a frame up a wall here along the end to give it more support along the end. Keep in mind that the pump is going to be mounted right in this area here, and that's where all the plumbing will run, is down through there. So now our next step is to bring the last outside wall in and secure it right here. So hang on just a minute and we'll be right back, and we'll show you how we're doing that. Alright, we've got this other side wall secured now, and it is tied in to the cross walls. The tank is in there good and firm and solid right now. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, we did test the tank before we put it in here. We set it up on the bench and we filled it and let it set for quite a while, watching and making sure that it didn't have any leaks in it. We got the tank at Tank Mart. Just go into tankmart.com, and the tank came out of California. They have every size and configuration of holding tank imaginable, and you can hand pick. You know, usually when any given gallon capacity, there will be at least 3 different sizes to choose from, sometimes a whole lot more. This particular tank, by the time we got it shipped here, and I think it came from California, Tank Mart is not out of California. I think they're out of Texas, but I'm not positive about that. But they had this shipped directly from California to us, and I think it ended up being around 4.5?
$4.19.
$4.19 total, shipped here and everything. And that is for a 50-gallon holding tank. And some dimensions are cheaper for the same gallon size than other dimensions. We just needed this particular dimension so it would work with us with our design. So anyway, now what we're going to do, all we have left to do now is run these stringers across, which I've already got them all pre-cut, and they will lay in just like this here. And I'll shoot them down the center, but where they cross over here, where they cross over the side walls here and then up there, we will run a screw into that, because I want to be able to, if I ever had to take this tank out for any reason whatsoever, I've got it installed in such a way where all I would have to do, I'd probably have to move this cabinet out of the way over here that will eventually end up here, but I'm going to install it in such a way where I could move it if I needed to. But if I ever needed to take this tank out for any reason, I could remove this cabinet out of the way here, unscrew this particular sidewall out, and just pull it off, and then the tank would slide directly out. And that's the way we have this designed, so we could get the tank out if we ever needed to. We don't foresee that. This is a really, really heavy-duty tank. I'm really impressed with the design of it, the thickness of it, and everything. It really is a nice tank. I don't foresee any issues whatsoever, but you always have to have a contingency plan, just in case. Okay, the next thing we're going to do now is shoot these stringers on and then run a screw in them on the ends here. We can shoot them down the center on the cross walls, but we need to be able to put screws on the ends here where they attach to the sidewalls, so that if we ever needed to take this sidewall out to get this tank, all we'd have to do is just pull these screws back out on this side here. So we'll be back in just a minute, and we'll show you the finished product. We're all wrapped up here, at least this part of it. Those areas you see where we cut the paneling out of the side, the cabinets will come up and cover that when they are mounted on each side of the trailer. And we thought we better cut that out so we would have some excess there if we happen to need it right in there. We've got the stringers coming across, and they tie into the sidewalls. The way I framed this is very, very similar to how we, basically frame a house. The main difference is I used lightweight materials. Everything was made out of either 2x2s or 1x2s. And then the paneling that I used for these side pieces is a product that I really like called SurePly. We've talked about it before. I've used it on other things before. It's a 1/4 inch thick. It's got special adhesives in it to hold the veneers together. And it's really, really strong. And when we attach these panels to these sidewalls, you would not believe how much it strengthened these sidewalls. Now altogether, we weighed each component as we built it, and we figure the bed frame itself, including the tank, including the tank while it's empty, we're somewhere between 110 to 120 pounds is what we added with all of this framework here. Of course, that does not include the battery. That battery itself probably weighs around 50 to 60 pounds itself. But here again, the battery's on the other side, which I need to add more weight to the passenger side of the trailer to compensate for the weight that is going to be on the driver's side. Now the tank itself, it measures 64 inches long, roughly 9 1/4 inches high, and I believe 22 inches wide. Yeah, it's 22 inches wide. And the way we've got it mounted in there, it is very, very secure. It's not going anywhere. And remember, I used those pieces of carpet tile pieces to cushion it everywhere where the framework touches the tank, so it wouldn't be rubbing on it. So we've got that part completed. The tank is in there very, very secure. I don't think we're going to have any issues at all with it moving around. I wanted to make sure that it was very secure. The structure itself is very, very, very strong, and considering how large it is, it really doesn't weigh that much. But the tank also centers almost exactly within an inch on the center axle center line. It centers almost exactly within an inch on the axle centers line. So even when the tank is full, it's not like we'll be adding extra weight on the nose or the tail of the trailer, because like I say, the center of the tank centers just almost exactly on the axle center line itself. And that kind of happened by accident, but we're real glad that it did. We're going to have some storage in that area right over there that we can utilize. We have a kitty cat, so we're going to use some, what do they call that stuff? Screen cloth?
Screen cloth.
Where the battery is and places like that, we'll be going in there and stapling screen cloth across there so that the kitty cat can't get into where the battery is, and we'll probably also staple some screen cloth along this one particular cross wall here so the kitty cat can't get over into here where the plumbing is going to be and the electrical for the 12-volt pump and stuff like that. She's quite mischievous, our little kitty cat Delilah. She's very, very mischievous. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I was going to mention before I shut her down. I think that's about it. And again, this design is not for everybody. We know that. We know that this design is not for everybody. But this design works for us. And that is the important thing. You know, we watch all kinds of YouTube videos on people doing conversions. We follow lots of people. We follow people that are doing school bus conversions. We follow tons of people on YouTube that do that sort of thing. And in their designs, they have things that I don't particularly care about, but yet I know that it works for them. And I support them because of that. So that's all I have to say about that. We're we think that a comfortable bed is very, very important to us in this stage of our lives. Right, dear?
Yes, it meets my priorities. My priorities are a decent bed, a decent sized shower, my coffee pot close by, my 50-inch TV, and a decent sound bar. Those are my priorities when I travel. So there you are, and we're meeting them.
And we're going to meet these priorities.
Oh, and I got to be able to blow dry my hair.
Well, that's true, and that's why we went with a 50 amp service. But we've already talked about that.
Yes, we've already talked.
We've already talked about
I
that.
was just going over my priorities.
Oh, and in the end, folks, that's all that matters.
That's right, because if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
That's right. Well, that's one thing I have definitely learned. Anyway, we're tired. It's nudging towards 6 o'clock today. It's Sunday afternoon. And we started working on this a little bit yesterday on Saturday, and then we wrapped it all up today. I put in a lot of forethought on this before we actually started putting it together. I wanted it to be strong. I wanted it to be as light as possible. My main concern, like I say, was I wanted to make sure the tank was good and secure, and I wanted to be able to service the tank and remove the tank if I needed to for one reason or another. And hopefully, with all these precautions that we took and all the forethought that went into this, we've achieved those goals. So our next step, well, we haven't quite decided yet. We're strongly considering going ahead and getting our cabinets and start installing the cabinets. And here again, we'll have a drawer cabinet right here. And then over here, let me move over here. This is where, of course, the kitchen sink and the refrigerator will be. So we'll have a couple of cabinets right there. And then down at the nose down there, we'll have a vanity down there, and the hot water tank will be inside the vanity that will be down there at the nose of the trailer. So we're strongly considering doing that step next, and then of course, then we're down to the basic things like running the plumbing, running the electrical, the rest of the electrical. I know it doesn't look like it, but actually we're probably getting pretty close to starting seeing some major results here before too long. And that's why I'm strongly considering going ahead and getting the cabinets. It's more of a psychological thing, because once I have the cabinets in, I'll be able to see, we'll be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what we'll be able to see, is the light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, I know what I was going to mention. We also we bought some little 2-inch vent covers. Now, grab those right quick, dear. We bought some little 2-inch vent covers that we're going to be installing in the sidewalls, and they'll be just above the tank, but there'll be some little white 2-inch circular vent covers here, and then of course we'll put some over there, and also in this cavity right down there next to the battery, the one right next to the battery there, we're going to mount a little 12-volt fan, like a computer fan. There's the little fan. We got that in, just to move some air. And there you see the 2-inch vent covers, so that air can circulate underneath. And this is a 12-volt fan here that will be mounted, like I say, over there in that cavity right over there. We think that it's probably pretty important that we have air circulating underneath this area. Now keep in mind, this battery is an AGM battery. It does not need to be vented, although I may go ahead and put a vent through the floor or something, so we can, well, I don't know that I really need to. I've done a lot of research on that, and they say that I don't have to concern myself with that. When we put the paneling on top here that the mattress will set on, we'll have compartments in it where we can lift out certain compartments to get to things like the battery or to get to the water pump over here. We'll have that all laid out so we can easily take those out by folding the mattress back and getting into those areas to service those items. All this forethought has to come into play when we're putting this thing together. Anyway, I'll be adding all this up and doing all my clips and see how everything comes together. This is the first time with the GoPro. I hope it came out good. I hope the video came out good, and I'm excited about this little camera. I'll be able to take you all kayaking with me and bicycle riding and stuff like that, because it's the little one. It's the little GoPro Hero Session 5 is what it is. And right now I'm setting it, I've got it set on 1080p at 30 frames per second is what I have it set on, just so you'll know. And we're going to see how the video comes out. Anyway, we're wore out. We're tired. We're hot and we're sweaty. And so anyway, we're going to call it a night. And y'all take care. And I hope you could. Hope there's something that you could use with what we did today. Hope there's something we showed you that you might be able to use in your design. Anyway, we'll be back in a week or two again. I hope everybody has a good week coming up. And you all take care. Drive carefully. Be safe out there. Enjoy, have some happy camping experiences and things like that. And we'll be talking to you all real soon. Say bye-bye, dear.
Bye-bye, dear.
Bye-bye.